One of the main intentions for this time is to bring us all together and talk about what it means to create real, authentic, connected, and genuine wellness community. As a longtime practitioner and as a full-time meditation teacher, I take the responsibility of teaching meditation and mindfulness and creating meditative community. I take it really seriously. We have so much responsibility when we're holding each other's minds and hearts as we practice together, as we traverse the journey and the path of meditation and all of our spiritual modalities. There's so much responsibility in holding each other's minds and hearts. We cannot actually traverse the path and the journey of meditation and our wellness practice and our spiritual practices alone. I have really found that actually personally in my years of practice, that the times I've needed support, the times my meditation practices felt like too much because of all the emotional overwhelm I'm going through or the personal challenges I'm going through, when I've leaned into community, when I've leaned into my meditation friends and running buddies and my colleagues over the years, that's when I gained the personal inspiration to keep going, to keep traversing the path of the mind and the heart. Most pivotal practices I've incorporated in my personal approach to this, to connection, to depth, to creating safety within my own mind and heart and safety for people around me, is a practice known as just like me. And it's a compassion practice coming from the mindfulness tradition and the Buddhist tradition. But it's a practice that points us towards our shared humanity. That no matter what we have done, what mistakes we've made, what shortcomings we have, what imperfections we have with ourselves, our perceived imperfections, that no matter what we have within us and no matter what we're viewing and observing in others around us, that just like me, you too have gone through similar versions of suffering, similar versions of challenge, similar versions of grief and heartbreak and breakups and loss.
Yeah, just your ideas on this like disillusionment of, wow, like I really am nothing, you know, but at the same time I am everything. So like how to hold that space moving forward, because I'm in a space of, I don't know, you know?
I think that's actually a real source of genuine inspiration and motivation to teach and to facilitate and to share. Realizing that we are everything and nothing. That even through the uncovering of dualism, you know, as we're practicing, we are often moving more and more and more into interconnectedness. We're moving more and more and more into non-dualism. I have come to really cherish the certain activities, things that I do and practices that seem to bring me back home into the present moment. And these are far and few between. In some ways, as many of us can imagine, when we are bringing mindfulness into our daily life and making mindfulness a daily practice, technically, everything is a doorway into the present moment. Everything that we do. This moment right now, exchanging information, you hearing my voice right now echoing throughout the room, mindful listening, for me, mindful speaking. This is a doorway into the present moment. So every single activity that we do, technically, yes, can bring us back home into the present moment. However, there are certain practices and activities that I've really begun to cherish over the years, which are these activities that bring me back home. Yes, my formal meditation practice every single day, but also my mindful walking practice, but particularly my mindful tea and mindful matcha practice. No matter where I am or what I'm doing, when I have a cup of matcha, when I have a cup of living tea pu'er, which we'll talk more about, I instantly drop in. I'm home. And especially in the midst of activity, in the midst of hustle, bustle, etc. having those moments of tea and coming back home to myself through that mindful sipping, exactly like how Pauline just led us through with the mindful green smoothie meditation. Coming back home to myself through having a cup of tea has been essential to staying grounded in my life day to day. There's a lot of overlap with that approach to the meditation and mindfulness teaching world too, right? If we are going to be sharing these practices of mindfulness, meditation, or spirituality as space holders, as conduits, as facilitators, as teachers, how connected are we to where these practices came from? How alive is our connection to the source of these practices through our teachers, through text, through our own direct receiving of instructions and of teachings of meditation or mindfulness or the way of tea? So there's a lot of overlap here between tea ceremony, facilitating tea ceremony, and facilitating any spiritual or meditative practices for all the facilitators. My hope is that you feel inspired and connected to your personal practice and or practices after today. And my hope is that we take supporting each other so darn seriously right now. We need each other. We need each other. We need each other to sustain our practices, and we need each other to move through our personal and collective challenges of present time.